Okay, in section 7.5, we've got two more questions. This is on question number 9. This is set up as a proportion. So when we are solving this problem, we are going to multiply the two that are diagonal, and then we're going to multiply these two that are diagonal. So what I'm going to have is, I'm going to have A times A minus 9, and then I'm going to have negative 18 and A minus 5. Excuse me, I said 5 and I wrote 15. Hold on a second. Let's fix that. So that would be 5. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to begin by distributing. So we have A squared minus 9A. And then on the other side, we have minus 18A. And then we're going to do negative 18 times negative 5. And that's going to give us a plus 90. Okay, so all I did was cross multiply diagonal and diagonal. Once I distributed here and here, then this is what I now have. I'm going to move everything to the left side so we can have this set equal to 0. So I'm going to add 18A, subtract 90. So let's change color so you can see what's happening. Here, this is canceling, this is canceling. On the right-hand side of the equation, we now have equals 0. On the left side of the equation, we bring down the A squared. When we combine these two like terms, we get a plus 9A, and then we have minus 90. This we're going to factor into two terms set equal to 0. So let's go to our calculator. On y equals, we're going to do negative 90 divided by x. On the second row, we are going to put the y1 plus x, second table, and we're going to look in the third column for the middle number, which was a positive 9. So to get a positive 9, what goes in our parentheses are going to be a minus 6 and a plus 15. So we have a minus 6 and a plus 15. So to get our two solutions, what would make the first parenthesis equal to 0? A positive 6. 6 minus 6 would be a 0. What would make this parenthesis a 0 would be, since this is adding 15, negative 15 plus 15 would be equal to 0. The only other thing I have to pay attention to is I need to ask myself, what would make this expression undefined? A cannot be a positive 5 or a positive 9 because those two values would make the denominator undefined. I look at my answers. Neither of these answers are what makes it undefined, so I am completely finished. Okay, so that was the first question. Another question that I've had is 7.5, question number 11. For this one, we're solving. So the first thing we need to do in order to find the least common multiple would be that each of these denominators that's not factored needs to be factored. So if I factor out a 2, I'm left with y plus 1. In this denominator, I would factor out a 7, and I'm left with y plus 1. This denominator is already factored. So to find my least common multiple, I see already that I need to have the y plus 1. All of them have the parenthesis y plus 1. This one has a 2, this one has a 7. So 2 times 7 would give me 14. So my least common multiple is going to be 14 y plus 1. So every term I'm going to multiply by 14 y plus 1. 14 y plus 1. Okay? So as we go about doing this, first we're going to cancel y plus 1 here and here. 2 goes into 14 7 times. So I'm going to write what I have left. I have left a 7 times 8y. That's all that's left at this point. Here, y plus 1 cancels, and my 7 goes into 14 twice. So I have my plus. I'm going to use the number 2, which is all that I had left. And then I have 9y plus 2. At the end, it's the y plus 1 that cancels. I'm left with 14 times 4y minus 1. Let me get rid of these stray marks here. Okay. So as we continue now, we have a simple problem where we're just going to apply the distributive property and solve for y. So this is really just like what you would have done in DMA 40. Here, when we distribute, we have 7 times 8. That's going to give us 56y. Here, when I distribute, 2 times 9 is 18y. 2 times 2 is 4. Here, I'm going to also distribute. So I have 14 times 4, which gives me 56y. 14 times negative 1 is minus 14. So as I'm trying to solve for y, on the left-hand side, I have like terms. Those need to be combined. So I'm going to take 56 and add to it the 18. That gives me 74y plus 4 equals 56y minus 14. As we continue, I'm going to move my y to the left. So doing the opposite is to subtract. So now I have 74 minus 56. That will give me 18y. Here I have an adding 4, so it would require me to subtract 4 to move it to the other side. And negative 14 minus 4 gives me negative 18. So let me bring this up here. I have 18y equals negative 18. So to get y alone, I'm going to divide both sides by positive 18, and y is equal to negative divided by positive is a negative. 18 over 18 both cancels, so the final answer on this problem is negative 1. Now, just as we did a moment ago, remember I asked you what makes this value undefined. So in my denominator, the only variable that I had was the y, a y plus 1. So y cannot be equal to negative 1. Negative 1 is what makes it undefined. Now this gives us a predicament here. In this situation, we are getting what makes it undefined. We're getting the value that makes it undefined being the same as the solution. So can we use negative 1 as an answer if it makes it undefined? No, we cannot use this answer. So if we cannot use the answer, if you look at the bottom, you have another choice where you can either type in the answer for y equals, or you will see you have an option that says no solution. So in this situation, your final answer is going to be final answer is no solution. There you go.